the TCG first, because of course it's been another weekend of national championships in the EU. We have our national season running at full speed at this point, and we are going to check out some of the lists and some of the decks that won. Like, I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because there's been like 4 European nationals this weekend. We're not going to be looking at all the everything, but just the trends and everything, because I'm also going to be playing nationals soon-ish. In I think 2 weeks and 5 days or something is when I'm going to play nationals in France. So I want to take a look at the trends and what's been going on, and that is what we're going to do now. First things first, shout outs to Lampy, who is currently tracking all the nationals in a spreadsheet, so that's very, very nice to look at. Shout outs to Lampy. If you wanna check out any of these individual nationals, there's individual tabs for every nationals with some stats. It's not fully filled out yet, but it's pretty cool. And this weekend we had 4 nationals happening. We had Netherlands, Bosnia, Slovenia, and Switzerland. And it is now time to announce that Malice has officially won some tournaments. It's been the Bosnian national champion as well as the Swiss national champion have been on Malice, which have been 315 players and 104 players respectively. And the other 2 nationals were won by Blue Eyes and Mitsurugi Raisiel. So we have the breakdowns open here. Let me move over here. And we're just going to take a quick glance at some of the stuff that we have. Not all the info for this is complete. It might be more complete over the course of the remaining days. But for example, for the Swiss national champions, there's 11 decks missing out of the top 16. So not the most data here that we have. But Malice ended up taking this one over Raisiel Heraldic. There's no deck list for it, but Raisiel Heraldic Beast ended up getting 2nd place at this one. Odeon Fiendsmith as well in top 4. And more Mitsurugi Raisiel not really performing at this one, with the best finish for it being top 8, unless the other top 4 was also Mitsurugi. But yeah, we have the man returning for a little performance here at the Swiss National Championship. Then the Dutch National Championships was probably the most, like, the best coverage over the course of the weekend, because it was live streamed over on the official Konami channels. I did check it out every once in a while if I had time. The stream was quite nice. And this one ended up being won by Mitsurugi Raisiel over Blue Eyes in the finals. I believe I caught like a side story throughout the event. I think they interviewed the 2nd place finisher, Marco. And I believe the story was he was just there because his kid was playing Dragon Duels. And I think they interviewed him during day 1, and he said something like, "Oh, my son got 2nd place at Dragon Duels. I don't know if I can do the same in the main event, but I'm trying." And they ended up also finishing 2nd place, which I think is very wholesome and very cool. Is that they both ended up topping their respective tournaments, and like the son got 2nd in Dragon Duels and the dad got 2nd in the main event. That was pretty cool. But it was Blue Eyes 2nd place, Mitsurugi Raisiel in 1st. Malice was pretty well represented at this tournament, I think. Overall, from the numbers that I've seen, I mean, the numbers here for the top cut are not complete, but there was Malice in top 4 twice. They both lost in top 4, but there was 2 Malice in top 4. There was more Malice in top 8. There was a life twin Fiendsmith in top 16 as well, alongside Crestron Horus, Unchained. Oh, there's even a list for the Unchained. Let me look at that here for a second. Okay, we've got 44 cards. Fiendsmith, Unchained, anything out of the ordinary. Seems like we're mixing some hand traps with some board breakers, which I think is like, I don't know what the trend is, but in my head, I'm thinking like it's pretty difficult to prepare for this format, right? Because beating Malice and Mitsurugi when you're going 2nd is pretty difficult with just hand traps, I think. Like, there's not that many hand traps that are just good against both of those decks. And the ones that are like the closest to being good, especially against Malice, are like Charmies. And Charmies feel like so weird to main deck when your deck wants to go first. So it's kind of iffy. But yeah, we got Unchained, we got Crystron here, we got Ogdoadic Fiendsmith Mitsurugi in the hands of Yugioh. topping the Dutch nationals as well. I believe Yugioh went undefeated in Swiss as well, and then lost in top 16. It is what it is. And then we have Blue Eyes actually taking a national here, where we actually have the full breakdown for the top 16 in this one. And this one had in top 16 4 Mitsurugi variations, 3 Ryzeals, which apparently were not Mitsurugi, so it's like Ryzeal Fiendsmith. And then we had 3 Malice. And overall, I think the story of these first couple of weekends for the TCG format is that, I mean, we've talked about this last week already after YCS Providence, but Malice is a top deck in the format, but it is not the only top deck in the format. I think these nationals and also YCS Providence are showing that a lot of other decks have chances in this format. It is more diverse than people anticipated, even myself. I did not anticipate it to be this diverse. Of course, it is more diverse the smaller the tournament gets. Like with smaller nationals, you will see more diverse top cuts and you'll see more rogue decks making it into the top cut. But still, even at YCS Providence, we saw Regenesis top. We saw a decent amount of Ryzeals top. We saw some Mermail in top cut as well. Like, and there's probably other things that I'm forgetting. But like, the format is more diverse than I anticipated, I think. It might be because Isendrix, thank you for the 36-month. Good job at commentating the Dutch Nationals. I didn't watch much of it, but what I saw was enjoyable for sure. I think people are still... I don't know if I can take a look at deck lists in this tab. In Netherlands, we probably have some profiles somewhere. They have deck lists loaded. Like, I mean, Lancia being in every side deck, I think there was some stats over... I think I saw it on the Dutch Nationals stream. I think they had some stats over, like, about, like, the most played cards. And I think the 2 most played cards by far were Lancia and Droll and Lockbird. And of course, Lancia being directly directed at Malice, right? With a lot of people even playing Chaos Hunter on top. Because everyone is expecting Malice to be so powerful is definitely hurting the deck's performance, right? Because of course, I mean, the deck has ways to play around Lancia now with the backup Adignister, but still, Lancia still hurts it pretty hard, you know? Chaos Hunter was at like 40%, which is crazy. Can I just say that? Chaos Hunter being in almost every second deck is insane, because Chaos Hunter is like the second option after Lancia. Like, that's like, they're playing Lancia from Wish in every second deck. Which also means that every one of those, I mean, everyone's playing Lancia already. So the amount of hate that Malice gets in deck building is insane. But on the one, it's kind of like, it's a weird situation, right? Because everyone knows that Malice is a popular deck, right? Malice is a deck that you play against a lot in Swiss as well, right? It's not like the only deck you have to respect, but it definitely is there, right? I would assume that if you're playing, like, I don't know, if people attended national championships over the course of like either this weekend or the weekend before that, feel free to let me know in chat how many Malice you faced in like those tournaments. Because I would think if it's like let's say it's a 9-round Swiss, I would still think at least 2 to 3 Malice. It might be more than that. But like and then top cut as well, you're gonna face some on your way through it, right? So and here's the thing, it's a weird situation where Lancia and Chaos Hunter and maybe Moltrami Meowls are like the best cards against Malice, right? But they are pretty niche in the sense that you're not going to be siding Chaos Hunter and Lancia into most other matchups, except for maybe Crystron, right? Like Lancia is good against Crystron randomly, but against most other decks, it doesn't have much use, right? And so like the situation that everyone is in is like, okay, we are presented with a pretty diverse format here, right? I'm using this national top cut breakdown as a thingy, but it looked pretty similar for other national champions as well. Like we have Dutch here. This one is not complete, but like Swiss is... There's like a variety of decks, right? And it's like... you might think, okay, maybe I should take some of those cards out against Malice, right? It's definitely a thought that crosses your mind when you're preparing for a diverse format. You're like, should I really be playing cards that target one specific deck? Should I really be playing Lancea that in this pie chart here only hits one deck that is like not even a fourth of the pie chart, right? Should I do that? And as soon as people start taking those cards out, though, I think Malice is going to start like thriving, right? As soon as people remove those cards, as soon as people stop respecting Malice because the format is so diverse, that's, I think, when Malice becomes really scary. And so we are kind of like in this situation where everyone comes prepared for Malice because Malice in theory is pretty strong. In practice, because everyone is doing this, Malice is not that strong. So like it's weird, right? At Dutch Nats, 6 out of 16 topping decks for Malice. Yeah, I don't know. This breakdown is not very complete, but I think it was more complete over here when I checked earlier. Oh, the Lampy spreadsheet also doesn't have it uploaded yet. Okay, well, yeah, the info on Dutch Nationals isn't out there, but I think I saw the breakdown on the stream of the Dutch National Championship, and it was like it had, I think, 6 Malice in total, in top 16. So the deck is still here, right? Like the deck is still here. The deck is still scary. And it's basically, the problem is that the cards that are good against Malice are basically only good against Malice. Which is awkward. Because in a diverse format, you don't really want to be siding specific cards for specific matchups, right? It's like, for the most part, you would like to side cards that have multiple purposes, but Lancea doesn't have multiple purposes. It's just Malice and some Crystron. But for the most part, yeah, it's awkward. And then Bosnia was also won by Malice. There's very little info on this tournament, but there is Malice in first place. There was a Blue Eyes in top 4 and a Crystron in top 8. That's all we have so far. But Malice ended up taking this one with, I think it was slightly under 200 players. Bosnia, 104. Approximately 200, it says on this website, but it seems like it was 104. Okay. Yeah. So that's the situation at Nationals at the moment. My personal takeaway from this is like, I still think Mitsurugi just looks more fun and seems to be as good, if not better, than Malice. So I'm currently under the impression that I'm going to be playing Mitsurugi in some way, shape, or form at French Nationals. I don't know exactly which version, but that is definitely the deck that I'm looking towards. I haven't started like super detailed testing yet. Like I'm just trying to follow what's going on, and I'm trying to get an idea of what the format is. But I'm going to be starting like my more in-depth testing soon, and I'm going to start with Mitsurugi. Maybe I end up not liking it as much, but I think Mitsurugi is pretty cool. Don't you think of playing Mermaid Atlantean? I mean, I would be interested to see what these people are doing with Mermails, if they're going first or if they're going second, but there's no deck lists here. I personally think if I'm trying to go first with a deck, then Mermail is not the best one out of the combo decks that are in the format. I think blinding second with Mermail is kind of scary, though, in a format with Mitsurugi and Malice. I don't know. They summon statue. Yeah, I figured. I figured it would be statue combo.